We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, smash the like button, share the video. If you want to donate, if you want to help support this college football rebel outpost with a donation, just hit that $ where you make your comment and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome in everybody into the Army of 24 studios that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. Mission completed. No matter what happens, mission completed. Either the Southeastern Conference is going to be all up in arms because Alabama doesn't make the playoffs, or the ACC completely gets left out of the playoffs, or Notre Dame is not in the playoffs either. I'm not an Irish fan. I'm not a Hurricane fan. I'm not from SEC country. Bring it on. Bring on the destruction. Bring on the destruction of this current playoff system. Army of 24. Hold your positions. All these college football reporters, I'm looking at Reese Davis. Reese Davis, who called the Tony Petit the idea of a 24-team playoff 444-426. He called it absurd. Reese Davis, with all due respect, I call you all absurd for still believing in this thing, especially in the day and age where the talent is being spread out more than ever. Tony Petitti's correct. You have all given the college football committee the impossible task. You're going to tweak this metric. You're going to tweak that metric. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. I'm going to have calls during the offseason. Great. Don't you understand? Last year, 2024, that was just 1 year of data. The Big 12 is going to be just fine. The Big 12 is going to be just fine. And now we got year 2. And the Big 12 is not fine. It should be fine, but it's not fine. The ACC should be fine, but it's not fine. We've got a system in which institutions, athletic departments, but most important, the football fans are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars buying tickets, buying merch, traveling to the games, and there is nothing there to secure the conference's value, the media value, for the media partners. It's like the NBA figured it all out. The NBA is not putting in teams because they deserve, because they're interested in who deserves to go to the playoffs. The NBA has constructed their playoffs. The NFL has constructed their playoffs. The NHL has constructed their playoffs to create the most value as possible in the regular season. But yet college football and the college football influencers at ESPN, no, we can't have that. That's absurd. It's absurd. This is absurd. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. All right. The Big Ten is better than the ACC and the Big 12. All right? The SEC is better than the ACC and the Big 12. Okay. The Big 12 and the ACC are better than the G5 schools. Okay. All right. Tell me something that I don't know. Tell me something that I do not know. But in this system, the way we have it now, you are not building the most value in the regular season. You're not securing the future of the ACC and the Big 12. Brett Yormark, come on, man. Come on. Phillips, get on that Army of 24 bandwagon. Get on there. Get on there. You've got Greg Sankey saying that 7 SEC teams should be in this playoffs. Are you kidding me? What a joke. Get on the Army of 24. And and again, God bless. God bless all those reporters out there. I love all of you. I love all of you. But now you got Josh Pate saying you cannot have a number 1 seed in the SEC. You cannot have them not make the playoffs because they finished first in the SEC. Oh, now the placement of where you are in the conference, now that matters? I thought it was just taking the best 12. I thought that's how we were doing this. Resumes. Alabama versus Miami. Alabama. No, suddenly it matters where Alabama finished in the SEC conference race. Where it should matter. Alabama should be in the playoffs of a different size. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Those days are over. You've got these large conferences. You've got all these conference games. You've got an imbalanced schedules in these conferences. And yet conference races don't matter. Conference races don't matter when we're picking who goes to the playoffs. That is absurd. That is unbelievably absurd. And that is why there is only one solution. 4-4-4-4-2-6. That's it, Jack. That's it. And it does not stop the Southeastern Conference from flexing. It doesn't stop the Big Ten from flexing. And if the ACC has a great football season, it would not stop them from flexing. It would not stop the Big 12 from flexing. It won't. The answer is sitting right in front of you. And yet Kirk Herbstreit, all these guys are dancing around. They're just dancing. They're just dancing. They're just dancing. They're doing this mental gymnastics to try to avoid the truth. This is a different college football world. You have Indiana win the Big Ten championship. You've got Duke winning the ACC championship. You've got Vanderbilt. Look what they just did this year. This is a new college football world. And then you've got, because of the transfer portal, because of all these players' movements, more than ever, you've got a team like Texas who now is peaking. And you're going to have teams like that during the season. You have Miami peaking. You've got Notre Dame peaking. We need a bigger playoff. We need a much bigger playoff. Now people are saying, well, we got to go to 16 and that's going to solve everything. No, it ain't. 16 is not big enough. We've been through this We've been talking about this on this program. This is College Football Rebel Outpost. We're not afraid to get out of our information silo. 16 ain't big enough. It's not. The only way you can't do a large AQ model with 16, you can do your 5 plus 11. You really want to do 5 plus 11? You really want to give this committee more power? Everyone's talking now, well, we're gonna devalue the non-conference games. We're gonna be looking at that because Texas is getting screwed. In a 4-4-4-4-2-6, the non-conference games, you have motivation to win a big non-conference game. You've got 2 bites at the apple. You win a big non-conference game and you can still make the playoffs if you do not finish in the top 4 of your conference. If you lose that big non-conference game early in the season, you still got a shot to get to the playoffs because you're going to finish in the top 4 of your conference because most of your games are played in the conference. Conference games have to matter. Your conference standings have to matter, just like in every other sport, to increase the value of the regular season. Now, and every one of these guys, they don't get it. They don't get it. But let's talk about today. We're going to have destruction. And I am going to enjoy all of it. Now, I'm going to feel empathy to the Alabamas, the empathy to the Fighting Irish, the empathy to the Miami Hurricanes. I'm going to have that, but we're going to have destruction here, no matter how this goes. And I'm sorry, I'm loving every minute of it because eventually we are going to get to the right place in college football. The army of 24 hold your positions. This talk that teams cannot be punished for their performance in the college football in their conference championship game, while the precedent has been set, teams have been punished in the past. Alabama came out and they laid an egg, a big one. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because of it. I do not think Bama is going to make it. The AP poll came out, and they don't even have Alabama making the playoffs. I think Miami and Notre Dame is going to be in, and I think they're going to have Notre Dame at number 9, Miami at number 10. Put down your comments on what you think is going to happen. Now, there is the possibility of Georgia moving up to number 2. Now, the Buckeyes lost the Big Ten championship game, but it was a very competitive game. But maybe they bring the Buckeyes down 1-3. Maybe. But if you're gonna drop the Buckeyes 2 spots, you're definitely gonna drop Alabama. I don't know. Just my opinion. I think they will. I've listened to ESPN. I've listened. They're circling the wagons around Alabama. I get it. The ACC circling their wagons around Miami. I get it. Notre Dame has their own circling around Notre Dame. I get it. But I think Alabama is going to be left out. James Madison, congratulations. You are going to the playoffs. Congratulations to the Tulane Green Wave. You're going to the playoffs. Now we've got Danny Cannell and other people saying, no way should these G5 teams be making the playoffs. This is absurd. Again, the college football playoffs, just like every other playoffs, if you are concerned about who is the best teams trying to get in the play, who we should only put the teams that deserve to be in there, you're missing the point of the creation of a playoff in the first place, is to create the most value in the regular season. G5, soon to be G6 representation increases the value of their seasons so they can make more money, so they can pay their bills, so they can have more student athletes have scholarships, opportunity, education, and then those G5, G6 football players can go in the portal. The ones that are succeeding, they can go in the portal. So your precious Minnesota Golden Gophers, your precious Rutgers, your precious UCLA, your precious Alabama, your precious Florida State, your precious Miami, then can take those developed players who have succeeded at the G5 level, and then you all can give them opportunities, and they can give your team an opportunity to get better next year. Do you want that to go away? No, you don't. So you cannot eliminate the access to the G5, G6 teams. Period. And we're at a point where all this should be a no-brainer, but we're not, are we? We're not at that point, are we? Are we? We're not even close to be at that point. We need this day of destruction. We need it. We need it. We need Alabama to blow up, or Miami to blow up, or Notre Dame to blow up. John Teal, Super Chat. Miami send Manny $1 million check and apology. Thank you for the $2 holler, John Teal. Yeah, Manny Diaz, Duke Blue Devils. They win the ACC championship. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. ACC is the Duke is the ACC champion. Absolutely. Now, when I talk about the playoffs of 24, this is not about making sure that nobody is unhappy at the end of the season. That's not the point of the playoff of 24. There's always going to be somebody unhappy. There's always going to be intrigue on who gets in and who gets out. That is not what the playoff of 24 is all about. The playoff of 24 is saying to the teams that did not quite make the playoffs, well, you did have the opportunity to finish in the top 4 of your conference. Today, BYU has lost 2 games to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. 2 games. They're 11-2. And they're not getting an opportunity to play in the playoffs. And the Red Raiders, who knows? They might be the best team in the country. BYU coming in second place in the BYU. I'm sorry. BYU should be in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Utah should be in the playoffs. You are not, we are, you've seen the data, you've seen the numbers. The talent is being spread out more than ever. We don't know who's going to hit correct on the portal, who's not going to hit on the portal. It is impossible to separate these teams. But yet we're going to sit here every year and go, yeah, that 10-2 versus that 10-2, that 11-1 versus that 10-2. Look at the strength of schedule and the blah, 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 blah. Have all that be done when it comes to the straight seeding of the playoffs. But do not eliminate a team like BYU, for God's sakes. BYU should be in the playoffs. Whoever, I don't even know. Hold on a second. Hold on. And now I'm going to get a whole bunch of people upset with me. Hold on. Hold on. Oh boy, I'm going to get everybody upset with me here. Hold on, everybody. Okay. All right, here I go. USC should be in the playoffs. USC should be in the playoffs. They finished fourth in the Big Ten. The three teams ahead of them, who knows? They might be the top three teams in the country. Right? USC lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame should be in the playoffs. USC should be in the playoffs. 12 is too small. 12 is too small, and having the committee pick 7 out of the 12 teams is absurd. A playoff of 24, you have 16 teams out of berth, 8 at large. 6 of them being at large, pure at large, and the other 2 going to the top 2 ranked G6 champions. And I got a question. Iowa State declines a bowl game. So, Minnesota Golden Gophers, we're going to play Kansas State in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Kansas State bows out. Then the Gophers were going to play the Cyclones in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Iowa State bows out. Everybody's afraid to play my beloved Golden Gophers. All of you are afraid to play my beloved Golden Gophers. You don't want to run for 250 yards against my Gophers, do you? You don't want to get worn out going up and down the field on my defense. My goodness. Who are the Golden Gophers going to play? You've got Nebraska's going to play Utah in the Vegas Bowl, and the Gophers are going to play who? Who are they going to play? Utah State? Somebody in the Mountain West. Nebraska wants a rematch against the Gophers. Oh, man. All right. Okay, here we are. It is Selection Sunday. Selection Sunday. John Teal. $2 say they bend the knee for Bama. Shaking my head. I don't think so. I don't think so. But we'll see, John Teal. We're gonna find out real soon. They did say they're gonna reveal the rankings and brackets here real soon. We've got another super chat. Thank you, John Teal. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, sir. Super chat from the Evil Badger. the legendary Evil Badger. $32 teams, 77774. Thank you, Evil Badger. I appreciate it. Now, even a nut job like me would say that 32 is probably the laws of diminishing returns. It gets involved in that. So, 24, I think, is the perfect number, but Evil Badger is for 32 teams. Thank you for your $2 holler. I very much appreciate it. Evil Badger says the Big Ten is the best conference in college football by a mile. I do not agree with that. I think the SEC is, but the SEC better come to play in these playoffs. The Southeastern Conference teams better strap it up this year. That's all I'm saying on that, or my tune is going to change. Thank you, Eva Badger. Thank you for your $2 holler. We've got another super chat, John Teal. Very good point by John Teal. Very good point. They don't just elevate G5 players, the coaches too. Absolutely. A great point, John Teal. G5, soon to be G6, not only develops the players, but it develops the future coaches and the coordinators and the position coaches. And for those G5, G6 teams to be in the playoffs, they're going to make a whole lot more money. They have way more exposure than they would if they had their own playoffs. We've got the NCAA basketball tournament. There are teams in that tournament that are not the best teams. We've got teams in every sport competing in the NCAA tournaments. But yet in football, we can't allow that to happen. I think we are allowing that to happen, and I think we've got to allow it in the future. It is best for the sport. Buckeye Greg, I'm telling you, that loss last night woke us up and made us even more dangerous. Could be just like last year. Here we go, guys. The college football playoffs. Ryan Thomas says Miami will be out. Indiana, number 1. Congratulations to Indiana. Indiana Hoosiers is number 1. It was that Julian Sayin, when he did that quarterback run and his knee went down, that was the play of the game. That was the play of the game. Number 2, Georgia or Ohio State? What do we got, guys? Georgia or Ohio State? Ohio State's number 2. The Buckeyes are number 2. Okay, we're going to be seeing Georgia number 3, and we're going to be seeing the Red Raiders number 4. The Georgia Bulldogs, who I believe will be playing the winner of Ole Miss and Tulane. Ole Miss should be coming in at 6. Tulane should be coming in at 11. I think Georgia is going to be playing the winner of Ole Miss and Tulane. Georgia is number 3. Christopher Hooter, I would put Georgia number 2, but it doesn't really matter. Thank you, Christopher Hooter, for the $2 holler. Thank you very much, kind sir. I would have had no problem with Georgia at number 2. I think Georgia can win it all. I had them to win it all last year. They just got to keep giving the ball to Nate Frazier. I think Georgia is an incredible threat to win this thing. I believe in the Bulldogs. I also believe in the Indiana Hoosiers as well. And of course the Buckeyes. That Indiana Hoosiers defense, we talked about it during the offseason. They have number one, they have first, second round draft picks in every level of their defense. Aiden, the linebacker, Kamara and Daly on the defensive line, D'Angelo Pons, quarterback. They're absolutely loaded. The Red Raiders are absolutely loaded on defense. The Red Raiders are absolutely loaded on defense. Nasty, nasty, nasty defensive line and the best linebacker in the country. Well-deserved Red Raiders, number 4 in the land, first round bye. Georgia could score 34 points on Indiana. All right? Could. I guess they could. Number 5 should be Oregon. I don't know why they would flip Ole Miss and Oregon at this point. Right? Not sure why they would flip them. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be, there it is, Oregon at number 5. That Oregon-Texas Tech game. Woo! Woo, woo, woo! Buckle in. Buckle in. Oregon's getting healthy. Oregon is getting healthy. Number 6 should be Ole Miss. Number 6 is Ole Miss. And they're probably going to be playing Tulane, which they defeated earlier in the year, 45-10. It's going to be a rematch between Ole Miss and Tulane. Jake Ratzlaff, quarterback, Tulane. Number 7 should be the Texas A&M Aggies. Congratulations to the Aggies getting into the playoffs. Mike Elko. There it is, Texas A&M at number 7. The A&M, the Aggies playing the Buckeyes. Now we should be getting Oklahoma at number 8. There it is, Oklahoma, number 8. No surprises. It could have been Georgia, number 2, Ohio State, number 3, but they went with the Buckeyes, number 2, in Georgia, number 3. But everything else, we all predicted. Number 9, I believe, will be Notre Dame. Oh my God. 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 Holy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait. Alabama should not be punished for playing. But Notre Dame just dropped out and they didn't have. BYU got punished. Hey, okay. With Bama being number 9 is an absolute travesty. There is so much precedence out there for if you get your doors blown off in the conference championship game. There is so much precedent out there. People have been writing about it all night long in the early morning. And Bama is the one team that doesn't get punished. Of course. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Destruction of the playoffs. Absolute destruction of this system. And Notre Dame, listen to me, Fighting Irish. Listen to me now. If you're not going to punish at all, now look, nobody's going to get punished for a bad conference championship game if they're in the. So you're only going to get the benefits of being in a conference championship game. You're not going to get punished, okay? Even though that's not what it's been, but unless it's just about Alabama. Notre Dame, you're screwed. Because teams can only have the benefit of winning the conference championship game, but they're not going to get punished for losing. So Notre Dame, your playoff access is being squeezed even more. That's the lesson of this travesty. Alabama is number 9. Oh my God! That Auburn game, baby, when they beat Auburn, when it was 20-20, and they pulled out that victory against their rival, Auburn, who lost to Kentucky 10-3 early in the year, who Kentucky lost to Louisville 41-0. That Auburn game made Alabama jump ahead of Notre Dame. That 27-20 victory over Auburn, when Notre Dame only beat Stanford 49-20. That 27-20 win got Alabama into the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Hey, Notre Dame, hello? Notre Dame, the ACC. Now, this is for Notre Dame. The ACC has been running that Miami-Notre Dame game on the ACC network over and 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 over again. Their social media has been pounding you, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, you better think maybe you should join a conference. And maybe you should get in, and especially, oh my gosh. Alabama, Alabama jumped on a 27-20 win against Auburn, and that's all they needed to happen. Oh my gosh. This is worse. This is worse and better than I ever could have imagined. This is worse and better than I ever could have imagined. Notre Dame, you want to talk about who, like, we only should have teams in the playoffs that should win it all. I mean, Notre Dame would absolutely bury Oklahoma, and they would bury Alabama. I'm not an Irish fan. I know I'm now going to get accused of being an Irish fan. This playoff system is a joke. It's not big enough for the world that we live in. BYU should be in it. Alabama should be in it. Notre Dame should be in it. Utah should be in it. USC should be in it. 24 teams should be in the playoffs. And then we can argue about who should be a first round bye, second round home team versus a first round home team versus a first round road team. Those are the arguments that we should be having. And it would be fun, but this is a joke. Alabama at number 9. What a joke. What an absolute joke. What a joke. Wait. Time out. If my beloved Golden Gophers get blown out in a conference championship game, they're not going to be punished for that. Wow. I cannot believe Alabama's number 9. That is the biggest joke. Okay, we're going to get to your phone calls. We are going to get to your phone calls. I mean, Notre Dame kept dropping. Alabama. Notre Dame. Flint Dog, absolutely right. Flint Dog. He was, and it is right. This guy here, Tony Petiti, who's become everybody's whipping boy, he's the only one who's been correct about any of this stuff. I gotta hear some sane voices. Let me know what you're thinking. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Alabama being in, I think, is the wrong call. Alabama being at number 9 is a joke. Absolute joke. Absolute joke. Three losses and getting blown out by 5-17. They lost to Florida State. They got blown out. Holy smokes. Hello? Hello? Give me a call. And I'm going to have Bama beating Oklahoma in the first round. So, I am. I'm going to have Bama winning. And then they're going to play the Hoosiers. And then a lot of you are going to learn something. I'm just going to say, a lot of you are going to learn something when Bama plays the Hoosiers in the second round. Wasn't Virginia punished for losing? I don't know. Yeah, they were because... But are they ranked farther behind? I didn't see the rest of the rankings. I mean, Notre Dame...
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, the floor is yours. Let it rip, sir.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy.
I sent a super chat explaining why this all happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sent it recently.
Yep, I got it up on the screen.
Okay. It's obvious to me it is not a college football playoff or to see who is going to be the national champion. It is an ESPN Invitational. It does not matter what anyone else says. It's ESPN SEC. What is it? 6 teams from the SEC got in.
Yeah.
3 from the Big Ten. 1 from the ACC. 1 from the Big 12.
Yep.
Is it 5 or is it 6 from the SEC? And then you got 2 G5.
Yep.
Do you honestly think this will now get Notre Dame to consider joining a conference?
I don't know. I've always thought that you guys all know that I believe that Notre Dame is going to end up joining the Big Ten at some point. Everybody knows that's what I believe. But I do not think it's going to be based on playoff access. I think it's going to be based on the ACC getting poached and Notre Dame not being able to keep up as a standalone when it comes to generating enough revenue to compete with the Bamas and the LSUs and the Georgias and the Michigan and the Buckeyes. So I don't think it's going to be playoff access that causes Notre Dame to join the conference. To join the Big Ten. But this is a playoff access type of question to Notre Dame. If they're not going to punish conference championship losers that get blown out, that we're going into the conference championship game with a loss against a Florida State team, Notre Dame's going to have to reevaluate and say, what the hell now? This isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. Notre Dame just made it to the championship last year. So, they've had a pretty good, they had a really good run last year. I don't know. I don't know, man. Notre Dame's got to be absolutely furious at this point.
Okay, I got one more thing. It might be like two more questions, though, depending on what you think.
Yeah.
Now, they say Alabama should not have been punished for playing or losing in the SEC title game. What about Virginia being punished for losing in the ACC title game?
Well, not only that, but BYU is punished. If Nicole Auerbach, I got it up on the screen here. Nicole Auerbach, BYU is penalized for getting blown out in its conference championship game. It dropped one spot, which allowed Miami to move up and get compared directly to Notre Dame. But Alabama was not penalized for getting blown out in its conference championship game. Again, there is a bunch of examples of teams getting penalized for getting blown out in the conference championship game. Notre Dame is the one team that did not get dropped at all. Not one spot. My mind is completely. I was ready to see possibly Alabama at number 10. At number 9, this is a joke. This is an abomination. Blow this thing up. Tony Petitti, hold your position. Hold your position. Don't take this. Don't go to a 5+11. My God, do not go to a 5+11, Tony Petitti. If you agree to that, I will be going to Rosemont, Illinois. I'll be taking a bus, a plane, and a train, and I will get there with my pitchfork, my maroon and gold pitchfork, and I'm storming the Rosemont corporate office castle. And I'm already person non grata at that place. I'm going to be storming the castle if you agree to a 5+11. Go ahead, sir.
I have one more question, and I'll hang up. Would you put Virginia ahead of Alabama because I believe they're 10-2?
No, I would not put Virginia ahead of Alabama. No, Virginia's not as no.
All right, well, that's all I had.
You got it,
Thanks
buddy.
for taking my call.
I appreciate it. I think Bama's a good team. I think they should be in the playoffs, but not this playoffs. Not this playoffs. Ryan Brooks, BYU and Virginia were not in the playoffs, so they were not punished. Alabama was not in the playoffs. Alabama was not in the playoffs. Yeah, they were ranked high enough because somehow that Auburn win flipped them over. Look. Okay, hold on. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Call from
TH3.
TH3, can you hold on for a moment, please?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. There is so many examples of teams being punished for being blown out in their tournament. SEC teams. Let me find you something here. Let me Stuart Mandel. Since 2014, 25 P5 teams lost their conference title game by over 14.5 points. Only 8 of those 25 dropped less than 2 spots. The average drop was by 2.7 spots. 2017 Auburn and 2022 USC fell out of the 4-team college football playoff for idle teams because they got blown out in their... It's happened over and over and over again. And Alabama lost by 21, and they looked terrible, and they didn't even drop one spot. And there are more examples. They're all over the place. So to argue that there's not precedent for this is not correct. This Alabama team made the playoffs because they flipped Notre Dame and Alabama because of that scintillating 27-20 victory over 5-7 Auburn that did not have a coach, that did not have their quarterback. This is the most corrupt thing I've ever seen. No, it's not. Keeping Florida State out of the playoffs at 13-0. This TH3, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
I understand your frustration a lot just because of the inconsistency with what they did, which is weird to me because, like, I'm a big March Madness guy, Greg. I don't know if you are too. I follow probably college basketball as much as I do. Did you notice something about this bracket that maybe you didn't catch on to right away?
No.
And that's the rematches. Specifically SEC rematches, because if you look at the schedule, the first one doesn't really bug me, but like Georgia and Ole Miss rematching in the semifinals or the quarterfinals. Why? Like, I'll be completely honest with you. If you wanted to put Georgia at 2 and Alabama at 3, I think that's more than, or not Alabama, Ohio State at 3. Yeah. I think that's more than reasonable, and then you get some different matchups with it. Like you have Georgia playing A&M or Ohio State playing Ole Miss. Georgia playing Ole Miss in the second round. March Madness always does their best to not have these rematches and save it for later on in the tournament. That way, if there is a rematch, it's deserved, and you're getting different matchups all the time. The second rematch, though, that really bugs me is Oklahoma and Alabama. I don't know. I understand it was a great game, but I don't know why we need another game over again just to break the rules of conference champions dropping one spot. You know, because Alabama does not drop at all. I'd rather see Alabama play A&M and Oklahoma play Miami, if I'm being honest with you. Because I'm not a fan of these rematches, and we're breaking the consistency rules just because the first game was really good, so the second game might be just as good, if not better. I don't want to see the same matchups. I want to see something different. And it bugs me. Even if somebody's just like, I knew they were going to put Alabama in. I just knew it. As soon as I saw Ohio State at 2, I'm like, okay, they're putting Alabama in. There's no way they only drop Ohio State one spot and then not put Alabama in. But all they had to do was follow their own rule of conference champions dropping a spot like they did with Ohio State and BYU. And I think a lot more people would be like less upset of how they did it. But I don't know why Bama doesn't get punished, whereas everybody else does, when Bama, of those 3 teams, has the worst loss. Like, that just doesn't compute in my brain at all. And all this to get a rematch in Norman against a team that beat them in Tuscaloosa. It doesn't make sense to me matchup-wise because I just want something different. I don't know your thoughts on that, but that's just
I have a little bit of a different take. When I'm doing the straight seeding, I don't think they should be looking at. I don't think they should be trying to avoid a rematch. As a viewer, as a consumer, I would rather have not to see a rematch. But if I'm straight seeding them, especially if there's only 12 spots in the playoffs, I would not try to avoid a rematch. So
it does feel, though, like it feels like Alabama got Oklahoma because ESPN wanted a rematch of the first game. Because they broke their own rule for Ohio State and BYU with Alabama when it made more sense to put Miami above Alabama, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but
and
either way, yeah, go ahead.
No, Alabama outplayed Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Alabama. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the metrics after that game, it was like if you replayed this game 100 times, Alabama would win it 96 times.
Yeah.
So, and I think Bama's going to beat Oklahoma. So, Bama's going to win their first round game. They happen to play the team that is struggling the most.
I absolutely agree with that, but that's also why I wanted to avoid the rematch, just to like get something different along those lines. Because that's the thing with like March Madness that I like so much. Is like I understand there's 68 teams in March Madness and only 12 in the college football playoff, but even the 11 seeds, they do their best to not partner them with either people in their conference or people they play during the regular season, just for difference of matchups, seeing different things all the time. And like in college football, I like the idea of off-the-wall things, and I'm going to have probably at least 2 games that are going to be a repeat of games that were great, don't get me wrong, but do they need a sequel? Because it feels like it undermines the original game that they played. And that kind of leads me to my ultimate point. It's starting to feel like the regular season doesn't really matter anymore. If I'm being honest. Because Florida State, they said Florida State had metrics in the 30s, but they were 5-7. Like,
is that what they're saying? Is that how they're propping up Alabama?
They said in the ESPN show, Florida State's metrics were in the mid-30s.
These guys, ESPN is so corrupt. It's so corrupt.
That is what they said on the selection show.
They should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed.
That Alabama's metrics, like their worst loss was to Florida State, who did make a bowl game, but they were around the 30 range, which is just. ESPN's FPI is an absolute joke of a metric.
They're using these metrics. Florida State was not a good football team this year. I don't know. How many road games? This is just. I wish you would not have. I wish you would have not have told me the truth and told me that, because now I'm even more.
You're going to be upset at me for saying this too. I feel like the college basketball route, I feel like this might be a very controversial take. They need to bring back the BCS metrics so ESPN's FPI doesn't have an influence on things. Because at least computers would be determining data along those lines and not a few people at ESPN. Because, I'm sorry, this reads a lot like ESPN influenced it. And for some reason, they love their metrics to influence, their metrics do not change at all after week 1. So if Florida State gets that big win week 1, it just doesn't change. They could stink the rest of the year and still probably be in the top 50. It's just a joke of a metric.
It's just a joke. It's a joke. Yep.
But sorry for the upset part. I probably should have told you the whole Florida State justification thing, but I'll let you go and get some other people on the line who want to call. So thank you for the time, Greg.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yep.
Call from
Christopher Hooter.
Christopher Hooter, can you hold on for 1 minute, please?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. We got a super chat from John Till. $2 holler. Let's be fair. Bama did drop one thing. Their drawers. Thank you, John Teal. Thank you so much for your generosity. I will say this. Not only is Alabama at number 9, but they got the easiest first round opponent. We've got, there's a super chat here I did not get to. Evil Badger, everybody has to understand it's ESPN Invitational. There was another one there that I thought I did not get to. Christopher Hooter, who's on the line. Bam is not a playoff caliber team. I don't know. I thought I missed one. Oh, Bill G. Thank you, Bill G, for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. You did it early in the program. I went off on a tyrant. I apologize, Bill G. For those who were gifted a membership from the incredible generosity of Bill G, please say thank you to Bill G in the chat room. All of you are knighted cloak and dagger. Thank you, Bill G. Thank you very much. Here, before we get to Christopher Hooter, I guess this is, if I was a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, I'd be sitting here and I'm going, Well, you know, we did lose these 2 games in the season. We lost to A&M, you know, we lost to Miami. We've been blowing teams out here and there. But, you know, the committee has us at number 9, and Bama has the committee at number 10. Notre Dame was number 9. Notre Dame was number 9. They did punish Virginia. Okay. Notre Dame was number 9. Alabama was number 10. Notre Dame wins 49-20 against a team that's not very good. And then Bama beat Auburn 27-20, in which a game they could have easily lost. They won that in the middle of the fourth quarter. And that win from Alabama, that win against Auburn, who did not have their head coach, that win took Alabama and flipped them over Notre Dame, and then Alabama laid a complete egg in the championship game. That win against Auburn, when Notre Dame whipped up on a bad team, somehow that got Bama in the playoffs. I find that from a Notre Dame perspective, and it's very difficult for me to get into the Notre Dame perspective, I find that almost criminal. Criminal. Why did you have Notre Dame ahead of Alabama before Bama played Auburn and Notre Dame played? If you would have told if you would have told me if Bama's 9 and Alabama's 10, and you would say, Greg, this is what's going to happen. Bama's going to beat Auburn by 27-20. It was going to be a 20-20 game. Alabama wins it in the middle of the fourth quarter, and then they get their doors blown off by Georgia in a very bad performance. And Notre Dame's only other game, they won 49-20. But Greg, Alabama ends up 9, and Notre Dame ends up 11. If I would have said you're out of your mind. I would have said you're drinking something. Quit drinking whatever you're drinking. Quit smoking whatever you're smoking. But yet, here we are. And I think Alabama's going to win. They're going to beat the Sooners in Norman. I mean, they got to play better, though. God. I mean, they got to. They're not going to be able to run the ball at all against the Sooner. Ty Simpson's going to have to throw. But that Sooners offense is going to make some mistakes. Anyways, Christopher Hooter, thanks for your patience. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm with you, man, on Bama. You know, I mean, I'm an SEC guy, but I'm trying to think, what was the last game they looked good? I mean, they looked okay versus Auburn, but they could have lost that game, and Auburn's not a superstar.
Yeah.
They
beat LSU 20-9.
And LSU with zero offense, zero.
Beat
right?
South Carolina 29-22, and they lose in that game for
They
most
should
of
have
that
lost
game.
that game. South Carolina should have won that game.
Yeah.
They looked right. They looked good
Yeah.
versus Tennessee, I guess.
Yeah.
The Missouri game was a tough game. They looked good there. They looked good in Vanderbilt, and they looked good in Georgia. But they haven't looked good, in my opinion, since the Tennessee game, and that was the middle of October.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, if you want a 3-loss SEC team, put in Texas. Over
Yeah.
Bama. They're looking, in my opinion, Texas passes the eye test more than Bama right now.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I don't know. If we go back to 2020, was it 2023, the Florida State Bama thing?
Yeah.
And I've always thought that when FSU's quarterback got hurt, that was just an excuse. I always thought a 12-1 Nick Saban coach SEC champ was going to get into the playoff. Florida State be damned. And I always thought that was just a convenient excuse.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean, there's no way you're going to leave out an undefeated SEC team or an undefeated Big Ten team out of the
Right.
14 playoffs just because their starting quarterback got hurt. That was not going to happen.
or 12-1, in
Yeah.
that case, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they did it to the ACC Florida State, undefeated Florida State team.
But but I don't know this. But that was a really good Bama team.
Yep.
I don't get the vibe on this Bama team. I don't have the same impression of it, right? When was the in the college football playoff 4 model? When was the year that Wisconsin was 12-0, and they lost to Ohio State? Was this 2017? Is that about right?
And they got their doors blown off.
They got their doors blown off. Well,
Yeah.
well, they got blamed for playing, right?
Yeah, it's happened
didn't
so
make
many
the
times, and suddenly now it doesn't happen because it's bad. It's. I don't know, man. I would not have been shocked if Alabama was number 10, but being number 9, I'm blown away by it. I'm still absolutely stunned by it.
I think the two G5s didn't help also, right? I think that's, one of those could have been a Notre Dame spot, right? Or
but
or a Duke.
It would have been the ACC champ anyway. It's
right.
Boy, it's just
right. So, well, this is a more food for fodder for your expanded playoff.
Oh yeah, no, quite. I'm taking advantage of it, Christopher Hooter. The Army of 24 is going to take advantage of this, no question.
And I think it also it underscores your point about automatic qualifiers.
Yeah,
you got to take the heat off the committee, man.
And then still have
they can't keep their lives straight, right?
Yeah, and still have a large enough at-large spot to where, if the SEC keeps rolling like they are in the best conference, you're still going to have a lot of SEC teams get at-large bids that don't make it in the top 4 of your conference, right? The SEC can still flex. The SEC is still going to have the most home games in the playoffs. It doesn't really hurt the Southeastern Conference. It makes them more. They're going to flex their strength more if they truly are the best conference in the nation every year. So, yeah, it's just, we play so many conference games and yet none of them matter. They've got to matter. We have to have conference races. We got to be looking at the conference standings. We got to be, in my opinion.
Oh, if you get blown out, I don't, if Bama gets blown out, it doesn't matter. If BYU gets blown out, it does, right?
It mattered. Yep, it mattered.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So so I think things are going to trend your way. Whether or not for Notre Dame, that's the wild card. We'll see what they do. I think an expanded playoff solves the Notre Dame independence problem too. They can still linger as an independent with an expanded playoff too. But anyway, I'm with you. I feel your pain on this.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. Okay, go.
You got it, buddy. Great call, Christopher Hooter. LSU Tiger, Christopher Hooter. Patrick, thank you so much. Patrick, hold on.
From
Movie Time Blues.
Movie Time Blues, can you hold on for just a minute, please?
Sure.
I appreciate it. Patrick, Miami deserves to be in Notre Dame. Head-to-head competition has to mean something. I agree, and I did have Miami in over Notre Dame. I was just taken from the Notre Dame perspective because they were ahead of Alabama, and I don't know how they slipped behind Alabama. I still don't quite understand that. That Auburn victory was not enough to flip them over Notre Dame. I find that just outrageous. But Patrick, thank you for the $5 holler. I do agree with you very, very much. So, hold on, everybody. I got to do something real quick here. Movie Time Blues, hold on for just one moment, please.
Sure.
I appreciate it, sir. We got one more super chat. Very kind super chat I got to get through real quick here. Leslie Hill, no ESPN for me. Thanks, Greg. Thank you for the $2 holler, Leslie. I appreciate it so very much, your support. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Patrick. John Till, Evil Badger, Christopher Hooter, Bill G. Thank you guys for your support. Movie Time Blues, the floor is yours. Thank you for your patience.
2 points. This is, first of all, this is a play to stop the 24th thing from happening. This is a clear play to stop the 24th thing from happening. If they could get the SEC on their side, then they believe they will hold them off, from moving out of the 5+11, and at least try to. And this part of that is getting at least one representative from the ACC, at least to maybe not to prevent the ACC from flipping. And related to the first point, they basically told the SEC not to protect Notre Dame. If they have to screw over Notre Dame to stop the 24 from happening, they will do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they don't want it to happen. They don't want it to happen.
So
yeah,
now we're gonna see a war of the wills. We see the forces that want the 24 and the ones that want the 5+11. That's gonna be the big fight from here on.
Yeah. Yeah,
all right,
it's a battle for the soul of college football. This is why I spend so much time on it. It really is the battle going on.
Now, what does the Big Ten do at this point? How much should they push for 24?
Well, they're the ones that are pushing for it.
Okay.
They're the ones that are pushing for it. They want the 4-4-4-4-2-6. Now they're working on getting the Big 12 and the ACC on their side, and I don't know why they wouldn't go on this. I don't get it. I don't get what's going on with Brett Yormark. Get on board, get out there publicly and say it. You're not earning anything on the field. You don't get the opportunity to earn anything on the field. So, I don't know what Brett Yormark is doing. I don't know what Jim Phillips is doing. Yeah, go ahead.
It would behoove the likes of BYU, Arizona State, and Utah to pressure Yormark to say, okay, look, we should be included into the playoffs, because we play good football.
Yeah, and they're never going to win. They're never going to win the metrics game. They're never going to win. We've got more wins against FPI ranked, blah 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 blah, because the FPI is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, the whole thing is just it's a rigged show, rigged situation. No, I don't. If Brett Yormark doesn't come out in public, I'm going to really start having serious doubts on his ability to lead the Big 12 beyond the great move that he did get in front of the Pac-12, because this is a no-brainer, Big 12. No-brainer. No-brainer. Get behind the 24.
Yep, it's time for 24. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right, I'll let you go now.
You got it. I appreciate it, buddy. Good call.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Bama looked... Michael Smith, if you go back and watch the Iron Bowl, I mean, Bama looked terrible in that game. They've looked terrible forever. I don't again, they're a good football team. They should be in the playoffs, but how did they flip ahead of now Scott Grable, thank you for coming on in, Crimson Tide. They flipped them because Notre Dame is 1-2 versus FPI top 60. Bama is 7-3. Well, FPI doesn't mean anything to me, number one. Number two is, why did they have Notre Dame ahead of Bama then, going into that rival weekend? Why? Why did they have Notre Dame ahead of Alabama? I don't know. It's just, it makes no sense. None.
From
Ryan Brooks.
Ryan Brooks, the floor is yours, LSU Tiger. You must be excited, Lane Kiffin. Things are rolling in Baton Rouge. Go ahead, sir.
I'm very excited how things are going in Baton Rouge. Calling to both agree and disagree with you.
You got it, buddy.
So I do agree that Bama should have been 10, not 9. I don't understand that at all. I probably also agree that why do we have 6 weeks of rankings for things to flip when it doesn't make any sense? There was no reason to flip Alabama and Notre Dame last week, and there was no reason to flip Miami and Notre Dame this week. However, they're in the right spots, but it just shouldn't have gone week to week. It just causes more issues than it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I disagree a little bit with the Alabama game. Everyone says they got beat by 21 points, and 21 points is 21 points. But in the fourth quarter, they were they were playing desperate, trying to win. At which point they went for it on fourth down from like their 20, which led to a touchdown. And then they went for it on fourth down instead of kicking a field goal at the end. If they were playing just to make it close, the score could have been 21-10, but they were desperate to try to win the game. So it's not as fair to say that they had the doors blown off of them like other games.
I somewhat agree with that, but I don't know. BYU was gambling during their game because they were down. You get desperate.
Absolutely, and that's where the problem is. And I don't take away from BYU doing it, but when you get desperate, you have to take chances, which changes the outcome of how.
But BYU was punished for their loss. BYU was punished. Alabama was not.
Yes, Alabama should have been moved to 9.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, from 9 to 10. They should have dropped the spot. But again, the other thing I hear, and I understand why, the SEC bias, but I believe that's more Alabama bias and Ohio State bias, individual team bias, not the whole conference, because Vanderbilt has just as much of a claim as Alabama does to come in.
Absolutely, yes. You're right.
And Georgia, nobody's complaining about Georgia, but I think Georgia could have been second.
I think they could have been too. Yep.
Now, here's what's interesting. Like you also said, I'll agree with this, is Alabama's going to be worried about even getting in, and I think they're going to win in the first round against Oklahoma.
They are too. Yep.
And I think they could even beat Indiana in an upset.
Now that's where we're gonna separate. I can't wait for that football game because I think Indiana is going to. I think Indiana, they're not gonna have to worry about the running game. Indiana's defense. I cannot wait for that football game. I think everyone is going to go through an experience they never thought they would live through, where an Indiana football team was going to manhandle an Alabama football team. I can't wait for it to happen.
It may very well be, but I'll refer back to a few years ago when I believe that Ohio State got lucky getting that last spot in, and then they won both their games.
Sure, yeah.
You know, they have enough talent to beat Indiana.
They can't run the ball a lick. I don't think they could run the ball against you and me if we were the nose tackles on the defensive line. They can't run the ball at all.
I don't disagree with that. I just believe that they have enough talent that they are a danger team in there and could win it all. They didn't deserve to be in last year, but had they been in there, they have enough talent if they put it together for a 3 or 4 game stretch. to do well. And it pains me to say that because I do not like Bama whatsoever. But it's just like Ohio State when they've got in there before and just go catch fire and run the table.
Yeah.
Because they always also have the talent as well there.
All right. Well, we're going to do that Indiana Alabama watch party, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's just say that.
And I will say Texas Tech probably has a path to get to the finals. Whether it's Georgia or Ohio State in the finals with them, I don't know. But Texas Tech, I think, is going to be the sleeper to get into the finals.
Yeah, the Red Raiders are for real, no question about it.
But again, I just want to kind of push back a little bit. It's more Bama bias than it is SEC bias because Vandy didn't get in, and they have a complaint, and Texas has a weak argument, but an argument. It's always Bama. It's always Bama.
Yep. All righty, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate the phone call, my man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Ben Portnoy. Hold on a second here. Hold on. We had a beautiful call. LSU Tiger. And hold on one second here. Hold on one second. Everybody, hold on. We do have the times for the football games. College football playoff first round schedule is as follows. Alabama at Oklahoma, 8 o'clock. I believe that's Eastern time, Friday night. Now that is interesting. I thought they would put the James Madison at Oregon Friday night. But they did not. The noon game, Miami at Texas A&M. Saturday afternoon, Tulane at Ole Miss, which is a rematch from this year. So is Alabama, Oklahoma. James Madison at Oregon, 7:30, Saturday evening, December 20th. That is your first round games. Wow, I am still in a state of disbelief. I really am. I really am. We've got some super chats here. John Till. To be honest, he didn't, and he meant your mark, beat the Pac-12. The Pac-12 beat itself. If he takes that garbage deal, we know that he was overhyped. I agree some point with that, but it was still a great maneuver by Brett Yormark to move that exclusive window that the Big 12 because his exclusive negotiating window with ESPN and Fox Sports was way after Pac-12. But he asked, they moved it up, he got in front of the Pac-12 and took that exposure spot from the Pac-12. So I think overall, Brett Yormark did a great job with that. So we're going to have to disagree with that, John Till, but thank you for the $5 holler. But Brett Yormark's got to fully commit to getting off the 5+11 train. It would be absolutely ridiculous for the Big 12. We got another super chat. PNW Ute. PNW Ute, take it to a 16-game college football playoff and keep the first round bye teams fresh. I don't know how you would have a 16-game college football playoffs and have a first round bye. It doesn't work. You don't have the motivation of trying to get a first round bye. I'm going to spend more time later this week on why a 16-team playoff that even doesn't work. Not as good as the 24. Not as good as the 20 or the 18. 16 doesn't quite work either. We'll go and get what we've been talking about it. We'll talk about it more later. But that is PNW Youth's opinion. Take it to the 16-game college football playoffs. Notre Dame, Utah, USC, or Vandy should be in. Sorry, Texas. Some 9-3 teams can get in. Thank you, PNW. I appreciate it, Mr. Ute, for your generosity, for your $5 holler. And we got another super chat. Buck Wargo. $5 holler. What a joke. Twisting themselves into a pretzel on Alabama and the ACC. This was about protecting their buddies and conferences with bigger constituencies. Thank you, Buck Wargo. I appreciate the $5 holler. Thank you so very much. Thank you for your generosity, sir. Thank you, Buck Wargo, PNWU, John Till, Leslie Hill, Patrick, Eva Badger, Christopher Hooter, Bill G. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your generosity. I'm getting a few DMs. I know I got one email from an Irish booster, but I can't read that email. I can't read that email without his permission. Normally, I do not take the Notre Dame's position. Again, I have Miami ahead of Notre Dame. And it should not have taken BYU dropping out of that slot for it to happen. But I got Notre Dame ahead of Alabama. It's just my opinion. I do not know. But anyways, Notre Dame is going to have to really look at this seriously here. Because remember, when this playoff was created, Notre Dame thought they had the advantage of not ever going to play in a conference championship game, because they wouldn't have to go through the wear and tear of the 13 game. Losing a conference championship game would punish you. Notre Dame would not have to take that risk. And then when we went to straight seeding, where you did not have to be a conference champion to get a first round bye, now you can be Notre Dame and get a first round bye. It looked like this whole system was created for the Irish. But now, if you're not going to punish teams that are listed in the top 10, if they get their doors blown off and they're a 3-loss team and they lost to a 5-7 out of conference game earlier in the season, if you're not going to punish Alabama, you're not going to punish teams, then all these conference teams going into the conference championship game, they can only benefit from getting in it, but they cannot get punished. That squeezes the playoff axis for the Irish. So they're going to have to reevaluate on that. I don't think, and Stephen McNeely said it earlier in the chat room, Greg, if you go to 24 teams, that's going to help Notre Dame. It is. I don't think Notre Dame going to the Big Ten Conference is going to be based on playoff axis. I think it's going to be based on other things that we've talked about. But if I was Notre Dame, I would be absolutely pissed. And I get it. Notre Dame doesn't have the same record within the FPI. Notre Dame would have buried Auburn. You know, it's like Notre Dame would have buried. Notre Dame would have a 7-3 record or better against FPI top 60, in my opinion. I don't. Boy. And I cannot wait to see Indiana against Alabama. Cannot wait. Talking Comics Indiana's defensive line would have Bama's offense in a torture chamber. Bama is too one-dimensional. Indiana is going to whoop up on Alabama. I really believe that. If you do not believe that, come to the watch party, because I think Bama is going to beat Oklahoma. That Oklahoma victory over Alabama really screwed up a lot of things, because Oklahoma got completely outplayed. They have not looked good. If Oklahoma would have lost that game, like the metrics, like they had a 4% chance of winning that game, then Bama would clearly be in, Notre Dame would be in, Miami would, it would, but that game kind of screwed everything up. Oklahoma won a miracle game against Alabama. They were completely outplayed. Oklahoma's number 8, Alabama's number 9. Thank you, Talking Comics, for the $5 holler. I agree with this, sir. I absolutely agree with you. And we've got another super chat. Rock and Rant. Congratulations to the Miami Hurricanes. $2 holler. The Miami Hurricanes are in the playoffs, and they play the Texas A&M Aggies. It's interesting to me because I think the weakness of Texas A&M is their defense against the run. Can Miami get it going? Can they, you're highlighting Pringle more and more. Give him the ball, Fletcher, third down. Is Miami's running game able to take advantage of the Texas A&M? I believe soft defense against the run. I don't know. I'm going to have to let it all marinate. Very interesting game. Now, I think Miami should be ahead in the playoffs ahead of Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame that would have been a very difficult matchup for Texas A&M. But it's Miami, Texas A&M. Thank you, Rock and Rant. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your support. Again, we're going to go off the air here. We've been on the air for an hour and 40 minutes talking about the selection show. Buckle up, brace for impact. We're going to be talking about the playoffs tomorrow and other things that are percolating. You've got to know, it was either going to be the ACC in Miami, Notre Dame, or Alabama, and Paul Feinbaum, one of those entities we're going to blow up today. Today it is Notre Dame, and they're going to have to rethink some things. I don't think playoff access is what makes Notre Dame do anything different. Now, maybe that relationship between Notre Dame and the ACC is a little bit frayed. I don't know. I don't really think Notre Dame has much to complain about. They're not an ACC football team. The ACC has every right to throw up against the wall what they need to do to get a Miami in or Duke in or Virginia in, or whatever they wanted to do. So, but again, Notre Dame being left out, they were rolling this year. They got a great football team. I really believe that. I would not want to play them in the bowl game. If Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price play, they probably won't. But anyways, who are the Gophers playing? That's the biggest question of it all. Who are the Gophers playing? Kansas State bows out. Iowa State bows out. Everybody is afraid to play my beloved Golden Gophers. And we're going to end on that. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Until next time, we see each other again. Please take great care of each other. And as always, God, family,